Okay, the next step after finishing the wheat paste in pasting a canister shell is to select a proper piece of craft paper. And to do that, you need to measure your shell and figure out how much craft is needed to, on the bottom side, reach all the way across the bottom of the shell, so it folds in like that, and on the top side, so it folds in right up against the spolet, just like that. And that happens to be 25 inches in width for this shell. And now we can get started on the actual pasting. Okay, the primary tool in pasting a shell is a nice brush such as this, and the first step in pasting is to cover all the spiking with this wheat paste. And you really want to work it in there. And I actually started in a bad spot. You want to start from a particular spot that you can remember, and make sure that you cover all of the spiking really well. Really soak it in there, and that will help to tighten the spiking as well as making the paper really stick into the shell. As this paste dries, it will tighten up the wraps, and also, as I said, it will tighten up the spiking, and that will result in a very strong shell, very unlikely to flower pot. Be sure not to forget to put wheat paste on the spiking on the top and bottom of the shell as well. Okay, once the shell is well covered in wheat paste, as is done here, roll it forward so it's not sitting on the starting part of the paper here, and then you're going to want to spoon out quite a bit of wheat paste onto this starting part. This would take a long time to do just with the brush, as you need quite a bit there. And then once it's on, then take your brush and run it up and down, spreading this out evenly over the entire surface of the paper, even the bottom down here. Okay, once this area is well covered, go ahead and roll the shell back. Make sure it is the proper distances from the top and bottom on the paper. And then take the edge and go ahead and fold it right up on the side. And start rolling it slowly and quite tightly around the shell. Okay, with this first little bit started, take your hands and really rub the paper deep into the spiking so you can see the spiking right through it, just like that, and continue that up and down the shell. You can see the spiking starting to appear on this shell here. Okay, now I am nearing the edge of where I have spread wheat paste, so I'll go ahead and start brushing more on here. And you can use the spoon to get it out of there faster if you like. And do about a foot at a time for a 5-inch shell. And for smaller, yeah, you can still do a foot of it at a time, because you can do smaller shells quite fast, quite a bit faster than this. So just continue to spread it on there. After the shell is fully wrapped, roll it on your table quite a few times and keep working it around with your hand to try to, you may not be able to see the spiking underneath at this point, but at least try to be able to feel it, and just keep on working it until you can get as many of the air pockets out as possible. You want it to be really nice and tight, and yeah, just real tightly rolled. Now, once you feel like the majority of air bubbles are taken out of the wraps, and you can see by the wrinkles and the watermarks on there that I have definitely worked this thing over pretty good, it is time to close off the ends, and this is the bottom of the shell, and so it gets the wraps folded down the complete diameter of the shell. You start by pushing it down in one area there, and just continue to work that around, folding down a little flap at a time until you're at the last flap right here, and go ahead and fold that down and press all the air out of that, and you will end up with a nice solid bottom just like that to the shell. And I haven't pressed all the air out of there just yet. I'll do that off camera, but it will end up looking something like that. And then for the top of the shell, on the top of the shell, the wraps fold down right to the edge of the spolet, just like that. And so you can start there and do smaller folds than you did on the bottom, just folding in a little edge at a time, just like that. Yeah, I'm pretty good at this, to do it with one hand this time. Alright. And yeah, before you do this, by the way, check and make sure that the inside of the flaps is still covered with wet wheat paste, and you will end up with the top of your shell looking something like that. Be sure to press all the air bubbles out of that as well, and leave it to dry. One other note is you can see that before I started pasting this shell, I've covered the tip of the spolet with a bit of masking tape, and that is to prevent the wetness of the wheat paste from coming in contact with it, and if moisture is absorbed too much into the grain of the spolet, it can cause it to crack and therefore cause the spolet to fail, the timing to fail. And so that's the last little tip I have for you there, and catch you next time.